The UAAP Women's Volleyball Tournament is filled with decorated players and budding talents that are starting to make waves game after game. And joining us to discuss the different storylines of the participating schools is UAAP analyst, our friend Neil Flores is back. Neil, welcome back to the show.
Always happy to be here.
We're happy that you're here to break down some of the personalities and the teams, of course, and we begin, let's say, with FEU. Technically, already a good comeback tournament as opposed to season 84. But let's talk about the F4, the Final Four, because that's what everybody's gunning for. Kaya pa ba ng FEU?
Okay, I'm gonna be real. Out of the 4 bottom teams right now in the UAAP, FEU has the closest chance of clinching that Final Four spot. But it does entail them to actually win 4 consecutive games. They cannot drop any game already, and they need to hope na yung nasa taas, yung nasa top 4 right now is to go further pababa para ma-level yung number 4 spot.
So we saw in the standings just a while ago that they are 2 games away from actually just evening it up in terms of making it to the Final Four. You take a look at the players that do need to step up here. We mentioned they're young. This is a rebuilding season in many ways para sa FEU. Who do you think needs to step up in particular for them to get where they want to be?
Well, aside from Chinitagaod, kailangan mag-step up ni Ubaldo and ni Devosora. I mean, these 2 names have emerged as the most improved players. A lot of fresh talents also for the FEU Lady Tamaraws. A new coach as well. So they're one of the teams that have been rebuilding. Hindi lang sila. But we can already see the vast improvement. They got a win against Ateneo in 5 sets in round 1. And they're looking to repeat that same performance in their next succeeding games. But again, it should be a team effort always. We've seen a lot of movements in possessions sa roster ng FEU. So hindi na pwedeng si Chinitagaod lang ang mag-step up because that happened last season. It wasn't successful for FEU.
But great year still for Coach T. Ikasalak, of course, takes over FEU. Now, you did say they had the best chance of all the 4 teams in the bottom. And that's a strange thing to say when we're talking about the next school, which is Ateneo. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, season 73 pa yata, yung last time na hindi sila nakapag-Final Four. So, there's still an outside chance, although FE has a better chance. How does that happen for Ateneo?
It's going to be very difficult for the Blue Eagles because their last few matchups will be against the most of the top 4 teams right now.
With UST tomorrow?
With UST tomorrow. So if they lose one of those games, you can safely say na medyo malabo na silang makapasok sa Final Four. But again, their mantra is nothing is impossible. They will just try their best and take that 1 game at a time to enter that Final Four.
Well, for everything to be possible, they'll need to have help for Faith. Let's be completely fair in terms of the production of these Ateneo. Faith has been standing out in many ways, but who needs to be able to complement what she does?
For me, it's really Lian de Guzman and Vanny Gandler. We know that this season, Ateneo wasn't the best receiving team. Most of the time, default nila yung outside hitters and opposite spikers. So you need to be able to convert on these out-of-system plays. And compared to Faith Nisperos, medyo nag-take ng dip yung laro ni Vanny Gandler and Lian de Guzman. Although they bounced back in that game against UP, Lian had 8, Vanny had 9. But malayo yung nagiging separation with their scores kay Faith. Faith had 17. So in the next succeeding games, kailangan lahat sila nagdo-double digits.
Oh, she's been amazing, Faith. But yun nga, tama ka yung drop-off dun sa second and third scorer. Now, the last game they had was against UP. And they lost, talking about UP, which officially eliminated them from Final Four contention. So what are your general thoughts on their campaign this year with Coach Shaq taking over this long-term program that they're looking for?
And the very first step of UP, napansin ko, was their coaching staff. If you take a look at the bench of UP, you can really say na they are very serious in rebuilding their PT, their conditioning coaches, from the club teams, from the pros nila kinuha yun eh. So they're very serious in developing their current roster, but we do know that recruitment plays a big factor in the UAAP. So they have to add new talent to their current roster, but the potential is already there. They already have some pieces that will work for them, pero kailangan nilang magdagdag if they want to compete against the current Final Four in the UAAP.
So the question actually for UP and the UP fans is, are the players that they have right now the ones that you build around, or of course their recruitment development will be something to look out for? But in the interest of time, we have to move on to the other school we're going to talk about here in UE, who have not had the season that they wanted by any stretch of the imagination, to the point that we're asking if they are going to get a win this season. You take a look at all of that. You take a look at the chances that they have of actually ending the season with a one win. How is that looking?
Well, I do hope they get at least a win. Underdogs are always crucial in every competition, and they do have Bangayan and Cepada, two rookies that are standouts from UST, na ngayon sila na yung magdadala ng winning tradition, hopefully, for the Lady Red Warriors.
It is important that you asked that question, and we pointed that out because in the last 2-3 years, diba, yun ang nagiging topic. That one win, they've been able to get it last year. It was emotional 2 years ago. So we're hoping that UE gets to that point nga na medyo lumalaban in like 2, 3, 4 wins, and we're hoping for the best for them. There's a lot of action still in the UAP with 4 more teams, Pao.
Absolutely. 4 more teams.